Where Colin was right?
I don't want to be mean, but the J.J. McCarthy thing, I don't know if he's even a backup. 3 turnovers and 4 yards in the second half. You could watch how Green Bay was coaching. You could tell. Look at their game plan. Green Bay, it's like, we're just going to run it. We don't need to take any big swings here. So the second half against Green Bay is, I mean, you can't just throw when you have all day and you're leading. I mean, yesterday is NFL quarterback play. On the road, trailing to a very good team and a very good defense. Everybody kept telling me, this is the guy you got to draft. And he was the only quarterback in his class. I said, I don't see it. I don't get it. I think I was right on that.
Colin continually references the fact that this was the sole quarterback about whom he held reservations. In the end, I believe J.J. McCarthy is precisely the kind of signal caller I anticipated he would become, and he required exactly what I predicted he would need: a full season observing from the sidelines. This is the rationale behind my persistent assertion heading into the last season, a point I've reiterated frequently, yet one that warrants repeating, that Sam Darnold would be the starter. I distinctly recall analyzing an interview with Kevin O'Connell and utilizing it as a foundation to proclaim, "Everyone, Sam Darnold is starting." You need to pay close attention to what Kevin O'Connell is expressing here. Sam Darnold will be the guy. I encountered significant resistance at the time, and then, as fate would have it, JJ sustained an injury. But I maintained my position that JJ McCarthy needed time to cultivate his skills. He required a period of observation, and so forth. He was ultimately deprived of that opportunity. He did not get that crucial developmental period last year. This was a point I also emphasized in my previous segment concerning Laurie. We were dissecting mechanics and related aspects, and I stated that substantive work on those fundamental elements doesn't genuinely occur during games, or even throughout the grueling regular season. That caliber of refinement is predominantly an off-season endeavor, demanding countless hours of repetitive drills and dedicated effort, a luxury simply not available once the games commence. The schedule doesn't permit it. The focus must shift to other critical areas like mastering the weekly game plan, intensive film study, and other immediate responsibilities. The priorities are entirely different. Consequently, he was unable to engage in that foundational development during practice, whether with the second team, third team, or in any other capacity. He missed out on all of that invaluable, repetitive work. Now, he finds himself thrust into the spotlight, and the results are less than ideal. He displays intermittent flashes that make you take notice, a moment where you think, wow, that was exceptional. He delivered one particular pass to Justin Jefferson that was a truly high-level, layered throw. It was beautiful. Perfect. Yet these are juxtaposed with other attempts that leave you utterly aghast, wondering, what in the world was that? When I evaluate J.J. McCarthy, I see a prospect with obvious raw talent who is currently unequivocally overmatched. He is clearly in over his head. However, just as I illustrated with the Bears situation, where I explained how Ben Johnson demonstrated the correct approach, consider what Matt LaFleur is accomplishing with Jordan Love. His stat line was 14 for 25, 139 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and an 85.2 passer rating. Crucially, they ran the football 42 times. Now, contrast that with the Vikings' approach. They handed the ball off only 20 times for 93 yards. That discrepancy is profoundly significant. We observed a similar pattern against the Bears, 22 carries for 115 yards. Meanwhile, the Bears themselves executed 39 rushing attempts. Look at Mr. Jones and the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan called 39 running plays against a top-tier defense, the Atlanta Falcons. He asked M. Jones to manage the game, 17 for 26, 152 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, with a significant portion of those throws being short passes to Christian McCaffrey, who had 7 receptions for 72 yards. Here is another example. M. Jones attempted only 19 passes against 24 runs. Christian McCaffrey alone had 28 carries, part of a 39 rush team total. Against that very same Atlanta Falcons defense, the Vikings ran the ball merely 19 times. In their game against the Lions, which they won 14-25, they actually had more rushes than pass attempts, running 29 times. It's a telling statistic. Now, examine the Baltimore Ravens game: 42 pass attempts versus a paltry 18 rushes. 5 of those were by J.J. McCarthy himself, meaning the team had only 13 designed rushing plays. This wasn't a product of a lopsided score. The game was competitive for the majority of the contest. This was always my primary apprehension regarding Kevin O'Connell. He has demonstrated excellence in working with established quarterbacks. But has he proven his capacity to nurture a young, developing quarterback? Let me be perfectly clear. I am not attempting to assign full blame to Kevin O'Connell for J.J. McCarthy's struggles. That is not my assertion. I am proposing it is a contributing element. J.J. McCarthy's own performance is the primary factor, but I want to foster a conversation that considers both sides of the equation. J.J. McCarthy has not performed adequately by any metric, but I also question whether the offensive system is adequately simplifying the game for him. Now, matters are beginning to spiral. He is being asked to make high-difficulty throws in situations that seem ill-advised. Perhaps not the best strategy against an elite defense like the Packers, or a formidable Atlanta Falcons unit that managed to stifle Josh Allen. It's probably not the soundest tactical decision. Therefore, I find myself questioning the overall strategic blueprint. And yes, the Minnesota Vikings players themselves, I can assure you, are not feeling confident about the current state of affairs. You can be certain that Justin Jefferson is at home, scrolling through his phone, observing Sam Darnold's performance with the Seattle Seahawks and thinking, my goodness. He's seeing even Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts pushing the Chiefs to the brink. It is a difficult reality to stomach at this juncture. There were some exceptionally strong opinions voiced about J.J. McCarthy initially. J. Max declared him the next Josh Allen, to which I reacted with disbelief. Dan Orlovsky suggested that J.J. McCarthy would have the Vikings in the exact same position they were in last season. It prompts the question, have we collectively forgotten that young quarterbacks typically struggle? That it requires time for them to find their footing? Even when we cite an example like Jayden Daniels, we must acknowledge he was older, more experienced in college, and possesses a dynamic rushing ability that adds a completely different dimension to his game. This athleticism serves as a get-out-of-jail-free card, making the transition considerably smoother and allowing him to settle in more easily. Many critics panned the Jayden Daniels-led offense, labeling it too collegiate, too unsophisticated, or too rudimentary. Yet one cannot argue with its effectiveness and success. Now consider this staggering comparison. Jayden Daniels, in his first 4 games, a quarterback many believe is having one of the finest rookie campaigns ever, had an average depth of target of just 6.4 yards. J.J. McCarthy currently leads the entire NFL in average depth of target at 10.1 yards. This is an astronomical and frankly illogical disparity. It should not be happening under any circumstances. None. Sam Darnold, who is arguably the most proficient deep ball passer in the league at this very moment, is performing exceptionally. Yet, his average depth of target is currently shorter than J.J. McCarthy's. Do you comprehend how insane that is? It is absolute madness. Let's delve further into the data. In his first 4 games, Jayden Daniels had 32 pass attempts that originated behind the line of scrimmage, constituting 30% of his total throws. J.J. McCarthy, over 6 games, has only 24 such attempts, making up just 15% of his passes. This is a massive differential, especially considering Jayden's sample size is only 4 games. Regarding screen passes, the numbers are even more revealing. J.J. McCarthy has a mere 16 screen attempts, placing him near the very bottom of the league. The only players with fewer are those who haven't played the full season. This represents a minuscule 9.4% of his pass attempts. For Jayden Daniels, in his first 4 games, 20.9% of his attempts were screens. He had 28 screen passes, leading the NFL at that time, all in fewer games. J.J. McCarthy has 16 in 6 games. Therefore, no, I do not believe Kevin O'Connell is performing adequately in this specific capacity. Cliff Kingsbury has demonstrated a clear understanding of how to develop a young quarterback. I am not arguing that Cliff Kingsbury is a superior head coach, offensive mind, or play caller compared to Kevin O'Connell. That is not the point of this discussion. Developing a raw, young quarterback and tailoring a system to his current capabilities is a fundamentally different task than integrating an experienced player, whether he's a veteran backup, a player with 3 to 5 years of NFL experience who hasn't yet broken out, or a seasoned veteran like Kirk Cousins. It is a completely distinct challenge from handling a young, developing quarterback who is essentially stating, I need to learn how to play at this level. I need to be placed in situations where I can experience success. Not every coach possesses that specific aptitude. It is a unique skill set. This is the perspective I wish to highlight. And again, I am not constructing the argument that J.J. McCarthy is secretly brilliant and being failed by his coach. That is not the takeaway here. I simply want to provide alternative viewpoints that I feel are not being adequately represented in the broader discourse. I am genuinely not encountering this nuanced analysis elsewhere. When we examine the quarterback who is potentially having one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, observe how they managed him. They explicitly did not ask him to consistently push the ball downfield. J.J. McCarthy's average depth of target is nearly double, and the scheme-designed high-percentage passes, the screens, the quick throws behind the line of scrimmage, the easy completions designed to build a quarterback's confidence and rhythm to accumulate easy yards are almost non-existent in the Minnesota Vikings offense for J.J. McCarthy. Furthermore, the simple act of handing the ball off appears to be something they only wish to incorporate sporadically. It seems like the offensive structure is not optimally supporting its young quarterback. And please do not counter with the argument that they have Justin Jefferson, so the deep shots are justified. The Commanders had Terry McLaurin. While he is not Justin Jefferson, he is still a premier receiving threat. The comparison still holds weight. This is simply a point for consideration. But these are just my reflections. I would be tremendously interested to hear your own. What are all of your thoughts on J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings? Do you agree with Colin's assessment that he isn't even backup caliber? Let me know your perspectives in the comments section below. I read every single comment. So, whether you find yourself in agreement or in vehement opposition, let's engage in some dialogue. Let's have some spirited debates. But ultimately, let's ensure we are enjoying the process. And please, do consider subscribing. We are in the process of cultivating a fantastic community here, and would absolutely adore having you as a part of it. My goal is to build something to which we all feel a genuine connection, something we are genuinely thrilled to be involved with. I believe we are making significant progress toward that objective. Also, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it genuinely assists with its visibility within the platform's algorithm. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you next time.